Carissa was always a lot of fun. And one thing that I remember the most that's a contrast from her now is she was the one in the family that would eat anything that was put in front of her. It didn't matter what it was. If Mom cooked it, she was going to eat it.
When I was younger, I used to eat like more than my dad and more than other family members, and then when I was about 16, I started feeling sick after eating stuff, nausea, and I'd get really full after just a little bit of food. And after about 6 months of just going to the family doctor, they sent me to a gastroenterologist, and she picked up on my symptoms really quickly, and the first test she did was the test that diagnosed me with the gastroparesis, which is like a paralyzed stomach.
At that time, the diagnosis was gastroparesis. Gastroparesis means a paralyzed stomach. The stomach is a muscle, and it has work to do as we ingest food, empty the food, and in a stomach that has gastroparesis, this muscular work simply doesn't happen. These neuromuscular problems of the stomach range from just a rhythm problem and a little bit of emptying problem all the way to where the stomach has like no rhythm or a very destructive rhythm, so that the muscle itself can't contract. And in addition, in some patients, the muscle is weak anyway. So you might consider like an iceberg, and at the tip of the iceberg are the patients who have almost continuous nausea. They cannot eat regular food, or they vomit and get quite ill. They cannot maintain their weight. They cannot ingest enough calories to hold their weight, so they steadily lose weight. This is the tip of the iceberg, kind of most severe cases, and this is the kind of case that Carissa has.
Not long after I got diagnosed, I got really depressed and I was really depressed for about 3 years. You know, and finally come to the realization that this isn't going to go away like they said it would. So I eventually, you know, learned how to cope with it, and you know, developed my relationship with God more to help me get through a lot of it, and you know, overcome the shock of not being able to eat and the limitations on my life that you know, no more sports and no more food and stuff like that. So
Carissa's case, in trying to help her feel better, her treatment has evolved through a variety of regular drugs, experimental drugs, and even gone on to trying a gastric pacemaker, a device to help stimulate the stomach so it works better to decrease the nausea and vomiting. And finally, in Carissa's case, because she does have such a severe neuromuscular problem of the stomach, we've also used tubes to help the stomach vent, or tubes to help feed her into the small intestine.
Very hard when I was going to college because I was an art major, which required, you know, a lot of physical work, like you know, ceramic sculpture, painting, anything like that takes a lot of energy, which I was low on to begin with. So I had a lot of trouble completing my work by the time I was supposed to, and I slept a lot more than most students, and you know, doctor's appointments, meds, and hospitals, and but I loved college anyway. Actually, it's the best years of my life, honestly, even battling this at the same time. My friends and professors and everybody were just really supportive and tried to help me any way they could.
When Carissa left to go to Messiah, we were helping her move things into her new dorm room. It was kind of scary. Even being the younger sister, I was afraid of how well she'd be able to take care of herself. I had been there on the occasions where she had passed out or had other problems where she wasn't able to care for herself at that point. And I was really nervous that something like that would happen and that no one would know.
Well, I started being able to overcome my bitterness to God during one Powerhouse my sophomore year. I think it was only the second one I'd ever been to. And they started singing, "Lord, I offer my life to you. Everything I've been through, use it for your glory." And I just broke down and cried, and I just realized that I had been really selfish and that I had been so focused on myself. And there was an immediate change. I mean, it was like instant, and my attitude was different, and that's when I really started, you know, my grades in college even shot up, my motivation, you know, increased, and I was really able to start focusing on how I could use it to help others.
We were amazed at the way she was able to go through Messiah and graduate with her class, especially being an art major and all the projects. We admired her greatly. We were concerned a lot of times that maybe she's pushing herself too hard and too fast, but we couldn't do anything to slow her down, and you know, it certainly paid off. But we just kind of stood back and watched, I guess, like everybody else did.